What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to continue on our Lake Fork updated lake breakdowns. I think you guys remember we were pulling the water down from 2022 to see what all we could find because with the water levels being down, there's all kinds of new stuff to uncover. So I've been going through that the last couple of videos. This will be our third video on Lake Fork on the Google Earth side. Stick around, got some good stuff for you. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into Lake Fork. Before we do, let me zoom in here and let's look over here on the left-hand side. If you've watched any of my lake breakdown videos before, my apologies for making you walk through this again, but I just like to share this with everyone, especially when we're first starting to do the lake breakdowns. So this really just shows you what all these different waypoints are. If you want to see the channels and ditches, you can literally just uncheck all the other ones in Google Earth and just see the different channels and ditches throughout Lake Fork. The cool things about these are tracks, so you can actually position your boat perfectly in all these creek channels. That's really, really key on Lake Fork. We've also got all kinds of different cover that's out there, whether that be shell, laydowns, brush, stuff that looked weird on Google Earth that you need to check out, all that good stuff. Texas Parks and Wildlife fish attractors. These are actually really good spots to find bass. Good spot to find crappie as well, but definitely good spots to find bass too. And then we've got lots of different offshore hotspots. So I'll talk to you guys about this. What we'll actually do is we'll take these waypoints, we'll move them over to Navionics mobile app, and we'll show them there so you can see why they're high percentage offshore areas. Then also, we marked all the different ramps all along Lake Fork, roads and ditches. So all the different roads, ditches, ponds, all that good stuff that's out there. And then finally, there's actually some rock on Lake Fork, believe it or not. You don't see it very often, but I've got it marked for you in the areas that we were able to find it. So let's go ahead and select all of them. We'll actually take off the offshore stuff because we don't need that since we're breaking it down on the Google Earth side. I'm going to pull this over. And the good thing, I guess not really good thing, bad thing, is that Lake Fork in 2022 was at some of its lowest levels that it's been as far as Google Earth is concerned, or me being able to find an image for it. So the best image for Google Earth wise to be able to find stuff that's actually, could be 6-7 foot underwater is to just go up here to the history button and move this to the most current date. So I'm going to move it to January of 2022. And that is the image that we're going to use for the majority of this. Now, when we get up in here, it gets a little bit tricky because the image isn't that good. But for the most part, we're going to be all right. So the last time we were on these videos, we were right here. We ended right outside of Little Caney, right in this area. And we talked about potential shell beds being out there and really looking at all these little points that are out here. Now, as we move a little bit further up, this is where we're going to start at. Again, another area where it looks like there's some potential shell right in this area. So this would be a really good spot to roam around, fish around, all that shallow cranking and stuff like that. That can be good. Jigs around those tree stumps when the water gets up. I mean, there's a lot of things you could use right in that area. And then if you scoot over here, you kind of see the same thing here. That's why I wanted you to check it. Notice how, like, say the top of this point, see how it's just pretty much just brown. There's nothing special about it. And then you come over here off this point and see all this where it gets a lot wider. I believe, I don't know for sure, that could potentially have something to do with the shell being in that area. So definitely go look at that and just see. I could be way off, but I'm telling you, a lot of times I'll check it here. It looks like that on Google Earth. I'll go out there and that's exactly what it is. So let's keep moving on down. There's some rock, potential rock that's actually up in here. You can see it right here. It's like just a little bitty rock pile that's put there. Now the water's got to come back up to full pool before that even comes into play, but it is there. You've also got a couple ramps that are back here. And then one thing I wanted you to check is a little bit further back in here is I don't know what this is. This almost looks like an underwater bridge, possibly. I couldn't really tell what was going on, but there's definitely something here. And on the back side of this, it looks like there's some buoys, so you might not be able to get back there. But on the back side of this, see the shade that's creating? I can see that being a really good ambush spot for the fish. So let's draw this back when the water was actually up. Let's see if I can get a good image here. So here we go. It's not underwater here, but this is 2019. But the lake looks like it's pretty full. So whatever that is, the water comes right up against it. It looks like, and that drop is just there, and that's an underwater drop. So, anyways, I just like that spot. That spot looks very interesting to me. I've never even noticed it until I pulled it up on Google Earth and was like, what in the world is that? But the back side of that is what I'd be more interested in. All right, so let's keep going. You just gotta love Fork. Look at all this cover you can fish around. It's just an awesome, awesome lake. We get up in here, a couple just good little points. We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff when we get to the offshore spots. But as far as Google Earth spots, I didn't really see too much here. We got a ton of ramps that are back in here. So if you're out on the boat ramp pattern and that is working out really well for you, well, you just hit a heyday right here in this little cove because there's plenty of different boat ramps. This one actually has a little bit of rock around it as well. So this one could have some potential. It's all dug out too, so maybe it gets used a little bit more. Somebody there has a bass boat or something like that. Also, as we move over here, pretty decent little ramp that comes out here. Doesn't look like it gets used much. And again, if the water's up, if we go back to 2019 like we did earlier, that ramp's submerged pretty well, and that's going to be a pretty good spot. That ramp over here that we saw that had that little rock out there, same thing. As we move over here and just show it to you over here. So, anyways, all of these are good spots, definitely good spots to go take a look at. These ramps can be really good patterns to get on. I'm telling you, it can be a fire pattern to run. Haven't done it on Fork, but I've done it on Lake Louisville and I've done it on Lake Lavon. Both of those lakes before, and that's been a really good pattern for me only during certain times of the year. All right, so let's keep moving up here. Again, we got more ramps that are up here. Now here, it doesn't look that big of a deal. I mean, you can see the ramps are submerged, but let's pull this up to 2022, and you can see how far each one of those slabs go out there. This is kind of a double slab here, pretty decent slab there. That dock right there, how it's on that little creek channel that comes through here, that dock could be a pretty good dock to fish around, especially the fact that it has a ramp as well. Moving over here, go a little bit further up in here. We got a couple more ramps that you'll see. Pretty decent looking laydowns that are here, almost like they were placed there for a reason. So maybe go look at that, especially when the water comes back up. And then some pretty big laydowns back in here too. So if you're really on that laydown pattern, where they were just getting really close to those laydowns, maybe in the back of coves or something like that, that could be a really good spot to find some fish. Back in here, we've also got some more ramps. Now, these points I love all the points on Fork, just fish points. But the wide areas, again, check those areas out and just see that has potential to be shell beds and just see if that's what it is. If it is, those could be really good areas to fish around as well, just like we were talking about before. And the good news about this one is you're a little bit of wind protected fishing on this one. So it's not like some of these big ones that are out here. So maybe just go check it out. Another ramp right in here. You can see that. And I'm going to zoom back out so you can keep up with me. And I'm going to come out here. I'm going to come around this point. I believe we're at the power lines. Yeah, so right where those power lines are. And you'll know when you go out there, you'll see the power lines stretching across the lake. When we get to those power lines, we're going to swing around here. Now, you don't see Google Earth spots or you don't see waypoints here off of these points, but this is going to be a good point to fish. I really like how it comes out. It's main lake. It tapers off. It's got cover on it, all of that stuff. There's a lot of points like that on this lake. Also, this point over here, that looks like a good point to fish too, especially when the water comes back up. So lots of good stuff in this area that maybe you're not seeing, but if we put on the offshore hotspots and we put them back to where they're supposed to go, let's see if I can get this going here. Then you'll see that all of these offshore hotspots pop up where we were just talking. And those points that I was telling you about, those are points that I really think would be a good spot. Right here is the offshore point. Here, again, is that offshore point we were looking at when it was all the way up to 2022. So just wanted to let you know, we're not missing out on those spots. They're actually there. We're just going to go over them and looking at them from a contour perspective instead. So moving up here, some more rock that was found up here right off of this point. So if I zoom in here, you'll see it. Notice how this could be rock. It could just be, I guess, funky looking dirt, but sure looks like rock to me, and that looks like rock as well. I never knew there was anything like that on Lake Fork. I never knew there was any type of rock or anything. So as soon as I get my boat back, from the shop, I'm definitely going to go out to Lake Fork and check these places out for sure, especially that rocky area. That looks really, really good. Moving up here, we got another boat ramp that's way back in there. So you'd have to really be confident in that boat ramp to take the trip to get back there to that boat ramp, but be confident in the boat ramp pattern. Moving up here, we've also got a Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor that's right off of this point. Looks like it's got some pretty good depth to it. I mean, even with the water down, it still looks like it has some pretty good depth. So you want to come out here, get off that point a little ways, and make sure you scan around that whole area. Sometimes if it's made out of that PVC, you can't even see it really. It won't show up correctly on the finder. So sometimes they're really hard to find, but you'll see it. If there's something there, whether you can see it or not, you'll see the bait around it or you'll see the fish around it. So make sure to take some time when you're going around these Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors, because they can be some really good spots to find some really good sized fish. Moving up here, we're going to get a little bit further up, some more ramps. So take a look at that. Outside of this little fishing pier that's up here, here's the ramps that are over here, but outside of this little fishing pier, there's some laydowns that have been probably strategically placed out here, but I've got one right here and one right here. So you may want to go look at those. Also coming out here off the edge of this dock, we got another pretty good sized laydown that's down here. Now, again, that can be a good pattern. If you can find some of those really good laydowns where they're out, away from everything else, not just if it's just laydowns everywhere, then obviously they can be there, but it's just harder to find them because you have so much to choose from. But if you can find these little isolated areas where you've got some really good laydowns and not a lot of other laydowns in the area, that can sometimes be some really good spots to find some healthy fish too. Got ramps up here, slabs, ramps, whatever you want to call them. A couple of them up there. This point is interesting. Now this, I think when we pull the water up, and I'll do it in a minute, but I think this is like barely showing. I don't know if those are concrete slabs or what those are, but this looks like it could have some potential rock in here, maybe some more debris that I can't see. So let's draw this back to 2019. And when we look at it from 2019, you can tell, you can just see the tops of it. But when we were looking at it in 2022, there was definitely some debris there or something. So debris on a point probably can't go wrong. You got some more ramps, a ramp back there, a ramp back here, some rocks, some very shallow rocks. The lake's got to come way up, but you got some pretty decent little rock along this seawall. It starts about right here, and you can see it goes all the way through here, goes all the way up. These are all this like concrete stuff. Now, I don't know if the water ever gets high enough for that to come into play, but if it does, that could be a really good spot to get up there and do some shallow cranking just along that seawall and see what you could find. Let's move this back to 2022. Let's keep moving. We got more ramps, lots and lots of ramps to look at. Nothing too special, from Google Earth standpoint to mark for you there. Now we're going to go over Highway 515, and we're going to go into this first little pocket or cove, whatever you want to call it. You've got a ramp that's back here. You've also got some interesting looking little laydowns that are just right here in this area, or not little, but big laydowns, a big giant laydown that's right there. Got a pretty decent little point with some cover off the front of it. Obviously, there's a lot of that on Fork. What I really liked was back in here, you've got these two ramps. Obviously, you could, if you were on the boat ramp pattern, you could fish those. But you got a really cool looking creek channel that's right in here. So you can see it right here. It runs down through here. It comes over. It kind of makes a little turn right there, and then it comes down through here, makes another turn, and then it makes a big turn right here, and then moves you all the way back down. You can kind of see as I'm following the little line that's there. So that is a really good looking creek channel. And so when we're looking at that creek channel, we're like, where's the best places to fish on that creek channel? Well, I would say, if it were me, I would say, this would be a spot right here. I would also say that probably somewhere right in here could be a good spot. And then definitely right here. Anything right in here is going to be probably money. And then last but not least, I'm going to say down here. Now, continuing, I could hit here. I could hit here, here as well. But those are just some of the spots that I would look at if I was fishing that creek channel. I think that would be more of your high percentage spots where you're going to find something. Now, keep moving on down. We've got some more laydowns that are out here outside of this dock. Someone looks like they put a little pile out here, probably a crappie fisherman of some sort, but you wouldn't have any idea that that was there. It would just look like standing timber. If the water were back up to where it was supposed to be, you'd be clueless that you're going over a giant brush pile right in there. Moving down through here, just kind of looking at all these docks and seeing what they have. They have anything good? None of them really had anything too good. We've got some ramps up here. There is some debris that's over here that you could check out. I don't know what this is, but it looks like maybe old fence posts, old dock posts, probably old dock posts. But that can be some interesting stuff to fish around, because if you look in the area, there's not a lot of other things. There's maybe a decent laydown there, but not a lot of other things around here. If we move this back to 19, those have some pretty good depth to them. So that could be a pretty cool little area to find some fish gathered up in there. So definitely go look at that. 2018, they still have depth on them. So I'm going to move this back to 2022, pull this back a little bit and show you this area right in here. And then we're going to zoom out on the map just so you can see kind of where I'm at on the lake as we've been moving down. So behind this dock right here, there's some pretty decent rock. You can see it all in here. Again, the water's got to come up, but definitely some good rock there. There's also like an isolated rock pile right in here, and I can't figure it out. There's one rock right there, and then there's a little section of it just right in here. And then if we move up, there's a really good looking roadbed that's out here that comes right through the center of this pocket. So you can see here, I've marked it where it says road. And then also on the outside edge over here, outside of this point, there's a really good laydown that's right here as well. So some good stuff to go check out. Let's keep moving up. And I think this is where the map is going to get a little bit tricky on me, because I'm not going to be able to get the image that I want, but we're going to mess around with it and get it as close as we can. And then we'll go from there. I think what the deal was is when I got up here, when I got to 2022, there wasn't really much I could do. I couldn't get a good image to actually see the water down. Now it says this is 2022, but I don't believe that it is. And the reason why is because you can go from right here, the water's right here, and then when you go to here, the water's way up here, and this is the same year. Now I'm pretty sure the lake, there's no drop off that's right in there, and that just doesn't make any sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw this back, and we're going to have to use a different year. And unfortunately, 2022 is not going to work for us. Now, maybe Google Earth will update that for us. I'm not sure. But if we keep coming back a little bit, let's go to 2015. We're going to draw. That one's a pretty good one right there, 2015. I knew it was 2015 or 2014. But let's stick with that. Let's go back. Let's go 2014. Nah, let's go 2015. Guess it doesn't really matter. Well, not sure what we're going to do here. I need to be able to show you guys this. I can't get the stupid thing to work. Here we go. 4 of 2014. That's where we're going to go. Sorry for all the confusion here. So that's going to be the best image we can get. Unfortunately, we lost 2022. Let's keep moving. I'm going to pull back here for a second and show you where I'm at. So this is where 515 is, right? So this is 515. Yes, 515. And we went up and we covered those areas right in there. And we're actually right here. So 2946 is over to our left. And then we're going to go all the way up into this arm and kind of take a look at it and see what's up there. So let's start right in here. And it's with these docks. So these docks have a pretty good brush pile that's back here, kind of hidden back there. There's a tire back there. There's another boat ramp that we could take a look at. You know, this image isn't as good as 2022, but it's the best we can get. We've got some more ramps up here, another ramp here. I thought this was rock around this point, but I don't think it is. I think it's just different, just vegetation that used to be out there. So it looks like rock, but I don't think that's what it is. You've also got debris out here outside the edge of this dock. So this dock is actually, if I move it up to 2022, it's actually not there anymore. And one of these images, I can't remember exactly what area it was, but there is some old debris that was left right in that area. So we definitely go look at that. Let's pull this back to 2022 and see. Yeah, it's now it won't even let me go to 2022. So it just likes to mess with us. I knew it was too good to be true. There's the debris. In 2018, you can actually see the debris. So you know there's going to be something down there. Let's go back to 2014 so we can finish off this video. We were in 4 of 14. Now we've lost that image, so we're going to have to go to 8 of 14 and stick with that because that's the closest one we have. So moving up here, another ramp. Could be an old roadbed too. So just some pretty good area now to find some stuff. I believe I've caught some fish right in there off that ramp before as well. We're going to go underneath 514. When you get underneath 514, you go into the first cove over on the right. There's some pretty good grass that's back in here. And I don't know if it's still there, but it was there recently, I would say within the last 2 or 3 years. And you can kind of see it here on the image as well. But there's a nice little creek channel that comes back through here. I don't know how deep in there you can get, but there is a pretty good creek that's coming through there. And then again, you've got a lot of different just hydrilla and stuff like that you can fish around in this little pocket. So I've always thought of this pocket as being a pretty good pocket to fish around. Now we're going to move on up. As we get a little bit further up in here, we're going to see basically a pond dam that's here. Now, I don't know if the water gets high enough to get into that pond. We're going to have to move up the water. Actually, it does. So that pond dam's right here. You're probably going to hit bottom with your boat, but know that there's a pond right behind the edge of that. And so where it says dam, there's actually a pond dam there. So here's look at all the grass and stuff that's in here. And then over here is the pond. Man, Lake Fork does not look like this anymore. It does not have this much hydrilla and stuff in it. We've also got a big ditch that goes back through here. And then, these are always good spots too. You find these creeks where they come out like this. And if you notice, the trees will line up almost exactly with the creek channels. So what it does is it kind of gives you a little line basically just to fish around because you know they're going to be relating to that creek channel. So you just kind of fish that tree line and go through there and just see what you can find. You got another good creek channel that comes over here as well. Looks like you could have some grass up in that area too. I'm not sure if it's still there in 2022, but it was back in 2015. Let's move it up to 2022 now. See, now it's actually giving me a good image so we can go back and look at the other side. Up here, here's that creek channel. So it does look like there may be some vegetation up in here. So that could be good to look at. Let's keep moving back in here. Here's that ditch that we were looking at earlier. You can't see it now, but you could definitely see it when the water was up a little bit higher. That pond dam totally wiped out here. Now you can really see it. Google Earth is playing all kinds of games with me tonight. We can also move on up here. We've got some brush that's over here. If I zoom in, you'll see it. Or maybe it's actually tires. I put brush because I thought there was brush on top of it, but that actually looks like a huge tire pile. So right here is a really good tire pile. The guy that put that there is probably wanting to shoot me. He's like, man, you gave away my honey hole. But hey, right there, good tire pile, labeled brush. So if you're watching this video and you buy the card and you go out there, you're going to have to remember that it says brush, but it's actually a big tire field, and it's right outside of this guy's dock. Again, I'll zoom back a little bit and show you exactly where we are. Well, I guess I'll just do it right now. So we went up this branch, and we're way back here in the back pretty much. It's going to be the last dock, not the last one because there's one more there. Second to last dock on your right. That's going to be very close to where that tire pile is. All right, keep moving up here. Got obviously really good creek channel up in here that you could fish around. I've never actually gone up here and fished in this area for some reason, just always fished back on Little Caney and Big Caney. But that is a really decent looking creek channel that you could fish around. And then moving over here, we're going to get into some more creek channels right here. Real decent creek channel. Now the image is going to start messing with me. We'll probably have to move it back. But again, we saw this back in 2014 where that creek channel was. It's not giving me a good image for 2022, but show you back in 2014 what that looks like. That's actually 11, so let's go to 4. So this is kind of what it looks like when we can get a clean image of it. Also, right in here, it almost looks like this is an old roadbed. So if you come right through here, it almost looks like there's a roadbed going through there. I did not mark that. We're probably going to cover it when we go over to the Navionics mobile app when we talk about offshore spots. But look right in here because you can just kind of tell by looking at the tree line and by kind of looking at what's going on over here and the way that's washed out right in there. That almost looks like an old roadbed that went right through there. I don't know where it goes from here. Actually, it might actually just go right through there and just follow that little creek channel. I can't tell, but anyways, go look at that area. That looks like it has some potential. Moving back up here, we've got ramps. We've got more pond dams that are right here. So, or I shouldn't say more pond dams, another pond dam, or at least what appears to be a pond dam. So if you look here, you got this little creek channel that comes back here, and then this area right in here looks a lot deeper. And then it shallows up. This looks like maybe where the main pond dam was, that or right in here where this little pipe is. Anyways, all this stuff in here looks good. Also, over here, I didn't notice this, but you got a lot of debris around that boat dock right in there. Got another boat ramp there too that's barely touching the water. Another boat ramp. All these personal boat ramps just all over the place right in this area. And then as we get down, we come underneath 514 again. We've got another Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor site. So you want to go there again, scan around, see what you can find. Drop shots and things like that when the fishing's really tough or when you're looking for unders. Those can be really good spots to find unders using the drop shots. Ramps out here, more creek channels. Let's zoom this back to 2022 and see if it's going to be friendly. No, it is not. So we're going to go back to 2014 and we'll keep moving down. As we get over here, we're finally getting closer to 2946. We've got a ramp that's over here and then appears to be like a brush pile or some kind of brush pile over in here. Now you can't see it in 2014, but as I move this up, I think it's 2018. We're actually going to be able to see it. Well, here actually you can see you're starting to get a lot of growth right in here. So if the water's up, this area right in here is probably going to be a pretty good area to find some fish shallow, messing around in the bushes and stuff like that. Just be careful when you come over there because it gets really, really shallow. So now we're going to come underneath. Came out of Birch. We're going to come underneath 2946, and we're going to talk first about these two Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor sites. Obviously, you've got the ramp there at 2946, and then we're going to work our way up the northeast side and probably going to finish this thing somewhere up in here so we don't run out of time here on the Google Earth video. So I'm going to keep moving over. Let's talk about what else we have down in here. We've got some laydowns that are over here. We covered that, in the first videos, and nothing's really changed since then. I do like this little isolated tree pocket that's right here outside of this dock. I don't know why, but it just stands out to me that that'd be a good place to go over there and check out. You got some rock that's back here. Just, I don't know how shallow it is, but just not really rock, but basically riprap, which is the same exact thing. Obviously, handful of ramps that are in this area. You can see all of them. And then out here off of this point, it appears to be that we have some potential rock off this point just right in this little spot. So it's hard to tell on this image if that's what that is, but if it is, it would be worth taking a look at because there's no other rock anywhere close by. And then as we move up kind of the side of 2946, there's a lot of docks and things to fish around, but there's really just not a lot of things from a Google Earth perspective that I can point out to you now. Maybe going in here and checking out just kind of the edges of this thing where this little ramp is and it comes out possibly. But other than that, I mean, fishing the docks and the ramps, that's what I do going down that bank line. Now, as you get further up here, though, there is a little ditch that's up here that you can see. Comes right through here. This is kind of where the creek or something comes back. I don't know what this is back here, but it kind of flows through here, which is going to create that little ditch in there. And times they'll settle down in those ditches, and those can be great places to locate them. You've also got a creek channel coming up here. Another creek channel coming through here. And then outside this, I mean, I like this. One, you got a creek channel coming right out here. It's hugging this point. You got some really good timber that's right in here too. And then I need to move this up, but I guess this is probably the best one I can tell. But if you look right here, to me, that looks like rock. And I'm wondering if you get out here, if there's some rock around this standing timber. If there is, that's rock around standing timber, close to a creek channel. That could be a good spot to locate fish again, for sure. We got some brush here outside of this dock, so go take a look at that. And then, of course, that cove right there that looks really cool. I don't know what cove you would call that, but it just looks like a cool cove. And then we're going to move further up here. Now we're getting pretty far up on the northern side. We're going to come up in here. And if you follow this power line down, I didn't really find anything that was up here that was worthy of marking for you guys, but there is a really good creek channel that runs right up here and you can see it. So I've marked the entire creek channel for you there. Up here in Gordon Branch, I've marked that creek channel and the creek channel that's over here too. So there's a couple of them over here. This one looks really good. Kind of follows the tree line. And you got another good one that's over here too. Now I've came up here and I've fished around some of this stuff, and to me, I just haven't done as well up here as I do in Big Caney and Little Caney area. So not discounting these areas at all. I just haven't spent enough time up here to figure out these areas as much as I have the southern part of the lake. But if I was, finding a lot of fish in creek channels, these could be some pretty good creek channels to go check out. There's also a pond that's out here. Now you can't see it on this image, but if I draw this back to 2014, I believe that's going to give us the image. If not, we're going to have to keep messing around with Google Earth because it decides what it's going to give me. So here's 2012. We've got a nice little pond that's right here. You wouldn't even know that was there after all those images, but it's definitely there. There's also a roadbed that's out here. And we'll probably talk about that on the offshore stuff, but definitely a roadbed that's out there. And then here's those creek channels again. Now we're going to move this down. We've got some boat ramps that are up here. Again, Texas Park and Wildlife, fish attractor site right in here. And then as we move over and we get around this little bend, we're going to go up here inside of this one. And we've got a really good creek channel that's up here too. So you can kind of see it. I lost it coming through, say like right in here, but I was able to pick it up here and I was able to just basically follow it all the way through underneath Highway 19. Of course, you got a little bend there. I didn't mark the bend. I just stayed on the main channel and just marked that all the way back through. Now, this to me looks like a fun area to go fish around. So I'd probably spend some time back there. Hopefully, once I get the boat back and get a chance to get back out to Lake Fork. We've also got some boat ramps here. Another boat ramp that's in here. And then here's another pond that's back here. That one looked interesting. Another boat ramp that's there. And then we're going to finish. Let's go ahead and finish down here at the bridge. So all I see is a bunch of boat ramps. But we've got a ditch that's up in here that you could take a look at. Again, you guys heard me talking about ditches earlier. Pond dams, summertime, pond dams, good places. This is a really good looking pond dam that's right here. I like that one. It's kind of out on the, kind of out in no man's land. Nobody's really be up there messing around with it. That could be a good spot. You've also got a good little creek channel that comes back through here too. So this was interesting. The creek actually, you've got this pond that's here, and then it's got this creek that's pretty much on top of the pond that comes around and then meets this other area down in here. I don't know what this is, but kind of cool looking from a Google Earth perspective for sure. As we move over here, just a bunch of ramps, more ramps, and more ramps. Now, I did not mark this spot, but I'm sure that is an offshore hotspot. We've got that little island that's out there. Can't remember what island, the name of that island is. I don't know if it was Oil Well Island. I can't remember, but there's a name to that island. I just don't remember what they called it. But then again, going down here, lots of ramps. And the last couple of things I want to show you is really just this roadbed that's back here. So if we get in the back of this little pocket or this cove that's here, parallel to this road, let's see what that road is actually called. That's County Road 330. There's another road that's parallel to it that's right out here. And notice this little ditch area that's right in here. And then the old roadbed that's right there. There's also an old pond that's right here and then a boat ramp as well. So I like that little pocket, especially when they start getting way back in there. I can see that being a good spot. Some good ramps over here, just more ramps, and then we're back to 2946. So let's go ahead and stop at 2946. Next video, we come back, we'll start there, start to work our way back down south. Hopefully we'll be able to get our 2022 image back up. Looks like we will once we get past 2946, and then we'll get back into some of the more newer waypoints and stuff that we've been able to find. So if you haven't been able to, please go out and check out our site, simplisticfishing.com. You can buy all these waypoints plus the offshore waypoints. We'll put them on a card for you. You plug them into your graph, and you'll have them while you're out there on the water. It will literally change the way you fish. Makes fishing much, much simpler. So please go check it out. And also, please make sure to go check out our sponsors, Omnia Fishing. I'll put a link down in the description. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB.